Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
sorry. Ryan,
bring it back full
Nuckolls,
circle.
Pumpjack Power, Crypto Power,
Digital Infrastructure Group.
Digital Infrastructure Group. Man, you got all kinds of stuff going on.
That's
dude.
it, man. Busy.
So you're gonna tell us about it, tell
Absolutely.
the story, all that stuff. I mean, it's easy for us because we all know each other well, and
Mm-hmm.
I love these kind of because it's super easy to like.
What's your
out.
origin story with Bitcoin?
Man, my origin story of Bitcoin. You guys know I'm a big poker player, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started hearing about Bitcoin when I was a senior in high school. I remember the first actual Bitcoin ATM in the entire planet was in Austin, Texas.
Was it really?
It really was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was in downtown Austin, just outside of this music venue that I used to go to because it was an ATM up spot. I remember looking at this ATM and I was like, Bitcoin ATM. I was just like, what is that? And then as I started, I've obviously been playing poker a long time. A lot of the online poker websites started paying out in Bitcoin. And so a lot of my current holdings that I have right now came from my early days of just simply playing cards online and getting paid out in Bitcoin. Still have some stuff on flash drives, which is kind of crazy to talk about. But it really kind of started there. And I always knew I wanted to kind of be in the energy industry, right? I always wanted to be an oil man like Waylon and my pops and all that. I never really realized until about right after I graduated college how much the impact that Bitcoin mining has in the energy optimization of numerous verticals. And so got into Bitcoin really in 2011. Was really just kind of playing poker, getting paid out. When I graduated business school and went to work for Waylon, I started kind of buying more actively. That was when the first run up kind of started happening. I was like, wow, I'm actually like got quite a bit of money here. And then in 2016, my brother-in-law married into the family. And one day on the golf course, he'd been a successful energy broker up in Dallas, and we kind of just hatched this idea to start a power provider that's solely tailored to the oil and gas industry. So Pumpjack Power came into the market in 2017, early 2017.
So you pivoted out of SWDs.
Thank God.
In that wonderful market.
Thank God.
And you were like, you know what? We paid the most money on power. Let's do that. Let's go into the power space.
That was it. The oil and gas business in 2014 took a really big hit. It was like the
lived through that one.
Oh yeah,
that one sucked.
That was tough, dude.
Pales in comparison to what we've seen recently, but like at the time it was like catastrophic.
It was big. I mean, we went from like almost $100 oil down to like $20 oil real quick.
18, 15, $20. Yeah,
it was a tough time, and obviously as a small family office, and your entire revenue is based on that, on a commodity like that, it's a big hit. So, coming up with that idea with my brother-in-law, I just kind of looked at Waylon. I said, Waylon, we got to jump into this. This is a really good vertical for us to easily transition into.
What was Waylon doing at the time?
He was just running his own operations. Yeah.
Okay.
Small E&P. We had a bunch of stuff down in South Texas. We started a saltwater disposal business, kind of as another vertical. Went reasonably well. It was just a lot of operation overhead liabilities, and it was just a big pain. I literally, when Jake called me, asked him about saltwater disposal, I was like,
worst.
Run. Don't ever jump in. But we started Pumpjack. Very fortunate to take off real quick. That was 2017. And then fast forward late 2019, we started getting a bunch of calls for data operators trying to go plug in West Texas. And what's funny about Pumpjack, when we went to our credit facilities to go get credit to be able to buy wholesale and trade power, everyone was like, you're going to start a power company that only sells to the oil and gas industry? That's never going to work. Like literally every credit facility, it was hard for one to actually take it seriously. And then we finally found one, got it done, and we took off real quick. Very fortunate. But 2019 rolls around, and I basically start to get all these calls of data operators trying to plug into West Texas. And I literally went to our credit facility at the time, and I was like, hey, I want to start crypto power. Like this is the same turnkey approach that we give to the oil and gas industry is needed for the blockchain, probably even more because it's their largest OpEx. And that credit facility was just like, no, that's a huge risk. That industry is going to go boom and bust, and that's just stupid. So I was like really kind of butthurt about that. We, about a year and a half later, moved on from that credit facility, thankfully, and partnered with a new credit facility, and I just flat out leaned into it again. There was all these massive loads coming online in Texas, and luckily everything kind of happens for a reason, like we were talking about. Had we come into the market with crypto power at that time, we would have probably gotten burned pretty bad because there was a lot of hosting companies that left some pretty big pay tabs with their
Yeah.
power providers during the downturn.
Yeah,
So everything
a
happens for a
few.
reason. Yeah,
A
few.
few.
You don't need to name names.
I mean, I will. But
Oh, yeah.
no,
Oh, yeah. But we came into the market. Wayland had Power Infrastructure Partners, electrical EPC company that was doing from permit to power for electrical infrastructure. And I really just saw, I was like, man, we've got a really big vertical to attack here. And so literally at the first Empower, that is when we launched Crypto Power. It came into the market. And since then, we've probably got 3 to 4x the amount of power in a short amount of time than Pumpjack's done, which Pumpjack does very well, but Crypto Power, I mean, just the need for that turnkey solution is absolutely there. So,
well, and it's such a, sometimes there's a lot of like, that's what she said jokes, but
yeah.
it's such a massive load of power that comes on.
Yeah.
All these massive loads all across Texas.
I've told somebody, like,
Hey, everything's bigger in Texas.
Hey, baby, there it is. Hey, now.
but you know what I mean? Like the scalability for like a group selling power.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, it's incredible when you compare it to
100%.
like basically everything else.
100%.
So, yeah, get it.
It what we caught ourselves doing, though, our job at Crypto Power is basically to not only supply you energy, but to optimize your energy position, right? What we've really mastered, we put together a great trade team that not only do we supply you power, but we optimize your positions in the market. So the game in Texas is not just sitting here mining Bitcoin. It's using Bitcoin to basically trade your electricity in the market and play that digital energy arbitrage game. And that's really what I've been very
while at the same time providing some stability for the grid.
100%.
So
100%.
yeah.
The last 2 episodes we've been educated on everything about demand response and all programs. I feel like a genius now.
Yeah, I do.
I felt really stupid during the time. I've had to demand the information at the meantime.
And I had a meeting before this show, and it was like all about the different kind of energy strategies and all this. And I was like, man, I'm so smart now.
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
You got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Got it. Yeah.
I got to say RIP, Brad Jones, former ERCOT president, CEO, huge mentor to me. He was really the guy that got people talking about the benefits on a large scale of Bitcoin mining, because in all honesty, there's really no other large flexible load that can respond to the grid other than Bitcoin. There's some industries that can do it,
but not the scale.
Not the scale. Absolutely not. And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, where the Bitcoin mining industry is right now, I tell Wayland this all the time. Like, so at first Wayland was like, oh, Bitcoin mining, Crypto Power, what are we going to do with this? Like, Now, obviously, he's like, oh, I love Bitcoin. Like,
Wayland's cool, man.
Wayland's a hoot. We'll definitely get him back on Oil and Gas Startups podcast. But where the Bitcoin mining industry is right now in comparison to the oil and gas industry in terms of timeline, the Bitcoin mining industry is basically where the oil and gas business was in the early 1920s. Right. The oil and gas business in the 1920s, you still had a lot of people rolling around on horse and carriages, right? Did you still have some advanced, consumers start to drive these crazy things called automobiles? Absolutely. But to the 30s and the 40s started to take on, everyone started to drive cars, and the oil and gas industry just saw an explosion of wealth. And I really believe that the next 15 to 20 years, we are going to see that absolutely just massive rocket ship of wealth created. And that's why I'm solely dedicated my career to this industry, because I know the wealth that's coming from this. Tim Draper met him in Dubai this last trip that I was out there, and he literally predicts anywhere from $80 to $100 trillion market cap in the total crypto industry in the next 15 to 20 years.
That's like an 80x.
You know how long it took the oil and gas industry to get that?
Oh, I don't know if
it's not even there yet. Yeah. I mean, last year the total like revenues of all oil and gas companies across the world was a few $1 trillion, right? All of crypto saw an inflow of capital of over $33 trillion last year, in and outflows.
One of the things too that I heard about the other day is just from the ETFs. Like when I was in Austin, you and I were, Wayland were talking about ETF and all that stuff. It was actually like the day before I think it got approved, right?
Yeah.
Right now, if you look at like the inflows through the ETFs compared to the production that there is on a daily basis from the miners right now, I heard it's something like 8 to 10 times the demand.
It's crazy.
And so halving's coming up. But imagine what other commodity. This is where like people really should just think about it, right? You got a Bitcoin ETF approved. You got multiple Bitcoin ETFs approved. So like they're legit. It's legit. It's real. The
There's like
SEC's
11 of them,
acknowledged
yeah?
it. Do what?
There's like 11 of them.
11, 12, something like that. Yeah. So, so it's real. SEC's established that. Now think of like another commodity to where you had 8 to 10 times the demand for it on a daily basis. Like, then what it's produced at. It's insane what the valuation should be and what it will be compared to where it is right now. Like, think about oil and gas, right? Oil, like, it's 95 billion barrels a day or something, or 95 million barrels a day. Yeah, 95 million, not billion, sorry. 95 million barrels a day. That's about the demand as well. It's almost a 1-for-1. It's
Absolutely.
pretty close. Yeah. And so, and we still see the fluctuations in the oil price based on like little small production increases or decreases can, pretty dramatically impact the price of oil. Yeah. Like once that catches up to the Bitcoin and people really start understanding it, it's stupid. Yeah. Like it's dumb what could happen. And that's one of the things where I'm like, you're really being silly and we're super early. And like you should be allocating some of your net worth to it. Yeah,
all of it, everything.
I've been dumping so much in there right now. It's like ridiculous.
I feel a little
not investment advice. Just
not investment advice.
My lawyer's sitting right here.
Yeah.
I feel super fortunate because I kind of like dumb lucked my way in. Obviously, young poker player, obviously getting paid out in Bitcoin, which is stupid. But once Bitcoin started to really kind of take
that
off,
actually fits the mold perfectly for the narrative, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of just dumb luck, classic poker player. But what's crazy about the ETFs is it's really just all institutional buying right now, right? We still have a liquidity crisis in global markets, but as soon as that money printer turns on, I asked everyone, where do you think all these hyperinflated dollars are going to go?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you look at land prices, what's happened in the last 5 or 6 years, and land prices skyrocketed. Yeah. Right. The Bitcoin price, it's all supply and demand, right? Is it a speculative asset? Absolutely. But these hyperinflated dollars, people in my generation, they're not dumping their money into land and real estate and gold anymore.
They can't afford it.
They can't afford it.
So it's like Bitcoin's the you can buy a fractional interest of it. Like I can throw $10. I buy some every day. I got a recurring purchase. So it's like, it's not a lot, but it's some every single day. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, just the as time goes on and the profile of like your average investor changes to the younger generations, like they're going to continue to put money into it.
Every dollar you put in, to your point, buying a little Bitcoin every day, every dollar you put in Bitcoin right now, in the next 10 years, it is easily a 10 to 20x. I mean,
I believe.
That's insane. Yeah.
We've experienced one of the largest wealth transfers back to the rich through post-COVID. Right. And I think one of the only ways to potentially reverse that is if this generation wakes up, gets orange pilled, and starts acquiring a lot of Bitcoin, holds that.
No, you're absolutely right.
Not saying that the rich aren't buying Bitcoin because they fucking absolutely are.
Right.
Well, the boomer generation is holding majority of the world's wealth right now. Right. Yeah. Well, what's going to happen when all this wealth is started to be transferred to the younger generations? Where are they going to put the money?
Oh yeah. I mean, you look at their investment profiles, and it's heavily into crypto. More morality-based stock decisions, like a lot of them ESG-friendly stocks are investing in, like, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But a huge portion of it is crypto. Bleep that word, but joking.
It's funny, when we say crypto, like, I was like so... I'm the first to tell you, I was like, I was into crypto first before I was into Bitcoin. And then once I became like...
Most people were.
The longer I was in Bitcoin, I became a Bitcoin maxi. And then I said, fuck all other crypto. And so now if somebody is like... They learn that I'm in Bitcoin, and then once I talk about crypto, I'm like, dude, I literally have no clue what's going on in this space. I don't even know I don't know the latest what's going on with Ethereum. Yeah. I don't know the latest with any fucking.
I mean, there is some altcoin projects that you should, have some, run up upside with, right? I wouldn't put your whole basis to it, but the altcoin situation is from 2015 to 2020. Yeah, absolutely. This podcast is sponsored by Don Julio 1942.
Thank you, Mr. Nuckolls and Pumpjack Power, Crypto Power, and Digital Infrastructure Group.
Absolutely. Just the altcoin projects caught a bad rep just because there was so many scam artists that hit the market and just ripped people's heads off, right? And so There is some really good coins out there, though, that I'm a big investor in Filecoin. Filecoin's got some really cool applications of basically just being able to hold transfer data on the blockchain. But a lot of them are still just kind of pump and dump schemes.
Well,
you know,
look, I look at it like I'm not into, any of that stuff, but at the same time, I am a proponent of liberty and freedom for people. And that includes letting people buy whatever they want and being interested in different projects. And look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there's not companies that have, that did an ICO that have a coin that's, used to basically raise money for their entities or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and say every one of those companies is a piece of shit and like they're not providing some type of value. I'm sure there are. There's just a plethora.
But if somebody comes to me and says, "How is this not essentially a security?"
Right.
I can't give you a definitive answer on that.
Right.
With Bitcoin, I have a definitive answer. Yeah. Everything else, I don't.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I have a hard time. Like I know Ripple won their case, which is funny. The day after they won that case, I actually met Brad Garlinghouse at Lake the Ozarks. I was wasted. But
you tried to fight him?
Freaking ran into him. And I was like, oh, dude, you didn't come on the show. And they were like, yeah. And then I sent them some emails. And they like followed up.
Oh, they did?
And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no. So I was wondering if maybe they listened to the show and heard me like talking shit about Ripple or something.
Maybe I have to pass that one on.
We did some due diligence. Fanboy.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but
I'm a Bitcoin maxi too. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I really just kind of do the altcoins, such as have some fun and see if I can get like a rip or two.
Yeah, it's like going to a casino, man.
It really is. Like last year, I got tipped off to a altcoin called XRP, and dude, it literally 20x'd in like a 2 week period.
That's Ripple. Yeah. That's the dude I'm freaking like.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know people who've made millions and millions in altcoins.
Not XRP, Zen. Sorry.
Oh, Zen. Yeah. The first
Zen, the tobacco one?
That would have been a really good rip. For sure.
The first one I ever bought was XRP though.
Really?
Yeah. I bought it. Yeah. Well, actually, no. I said I bought Bitcoin first. My brother had talked to me about it, but my brother's very eccentric and like he drives around in the Cosmic Pickle. That's his RV. He's pulling it with his pink F-350 that has a Jaguar painted on one side and a dragon on the other. And he's got my grandpa's elk antlers on the front. It's like Cousin Eddie, like hippie version of Cousin Eddie. And
does that make you Clark Griswold?
Yeah, it makes me Clark. Yeah. So he's like sitting there telling me about Bitcoin. I'm like, man, I'll try it out. And check it out. But then I met Anadarko at the time, and I didn't come from any money. And I got all these people. I got to talk about. I'm like, yeah, I got some Bitcoin. They're like, you're gonna go to jail. And all these people that came from money, their dads are lawyers, doctors, whatever. And I'm sitting here, freaking redneck from Missouri.
It's funny how the narratives change though. From
completely.
The conception. I was like, oh, this is nerd money.
Yeah.
Oh, people are laundering money. Like, oh, this is just a speculative asset. And now everyone's kind of like, well.
No, it's real.
Maybe it's kind of real now. Yeah. Right. And I tell all my friends and like, oh, Nuckolls, we missed the boat. I'm like, dude.
No, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Early.
Right. It's all about sitting there, being patient and holding. I read a great book a couple of weeks ago. It's called The Psychology of Money. And there's in their chapter, it's a fantastic book. It's a great book. And there's
I have not read that.
You definitely need to read it.
It's like a New York Times bestseller.
Oh,
yeah. It's really,
it's very good. But it talks about how in all investments you make, you're always going to pay a cost for that investment. What it means is, that investment's going to dip at some point, right? You're going to freak out like, oh, why did I put my money in Bitcoin? At some point, that asset is going to appreciate, and you're going to look back and be like, man,
why did I sell my Bitcoin?
Yeah, or why didn't I buy more? Right? But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is, in my mind, is it a speculative asset? 100%. But what it's going to go do in the next 10 to 15 years, and if you really have the patience to sit there and ride it out for that long, I've been invested into Bitcoin since 2011, over 12, 13 years now. It's drastically changed my life, and I'm 33 years old. If I can hold Bitcoin for another 30 or 40 years of my life and stay along, hopefully longer, what's Bitcoin going to be in the next 30 or 40 years?
Oh, man, a lot.
What's Jackson going to hold?
He's already taken care of his. He's actually got his own wallet.
Does he?
Yeah.
Good for him, dude.
So that's good. But
I mean,
he lost it on a boating accident too, though.
Yeah. Little jet ski accident.
No. Kind of. Yeah. But
maybe he'll take his soccer salary in
Bitcoin. I hope so. I hope he does that. That'd be cool. He's a little soccer player. So
yeah.
I
mean, it's the opportunity to to diversify, to be in an asset class with appreciation of this much potential, dude, there's nothing else in the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's a way for people to basically own like property, because I compare it to land a lot, like
Absolutely.
just from the standpoint of like,
You and I are both landmen.
Right. Yeah. So and it's like, look, you can't. It's hard for people, especially nowadays, to go buy a half acre of land, an acre of land.
Absolutely.
It's crazy how expensive
It's gotten insane. It's so.
I remember
insane.
my dad bought his first person land. It was like he went and took me out to it, and then he was like, "Yeah, you know, I paid $12,000 for this," and I'm like, that seemed like a lot. That seemed like a lot of money. Yeah, it was like 20 something acres, and I'm like, that seemed like a lot of money at the time. But now looking back, I'm like, dude, I wish I could buy 20 acres for $12,000.
It'd be like $20,000 an acre now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, now it's like $300,000 for a half acre lot. Right outside of Houston.
It's insane, man. It's insane. It's insane. All right, so I know we're bouncing around a lot, but like Dig, tell us about Dig now. So you had Pumpjack Power, Crypto Power. Those really took off. You're doing a lot with Dig now, Digital Infrastructure Group.
Correct.
So tell us everything about it and give us a nitty gritty
down and
details
dirty
that nobody knows about.
The Dig.
Yeah.
Massive words.
When we started Crypto Power, you know, as a power provider, we've got supply and service agreements with all the transmission utilities, right? And so in a very kind of soft sense, I've kind of got some backdoor access of understanding, you know, grid infrastructure, interconnection points. And so back in 2019, when we first got denied for Crypto Power, I was like, they're going to come around. I need to get my chessboard ready for when we attack. And so basically what I started doing was just geotagging interconnection points around the grid and kind of doing like studies and analysis on capacity. So as it stands today, I've got like over 800 interconnection points in Texas with like 7 gigawatts of power capacity identified. So once we finally came into the market with Crypto Power, I first was kind of just running the development game under Crypto Power. Our job as a power provider is not to do development work. It's to be supply electricity, optimize energy, manage your electricity, right? Our team was just spending too much time doing development work. And so I just looked at the team and I said, guys, I'm going to go start Digital Infrastructure Group and basically flow all of this to Crypto Power. And so my main focus right now is simply just doing turnkey asset development for blockchain operators. Literally just closed the biggest deal of my career before I came in with you guys today. Super excited. Got over a gigawatt of projects in motion right now. And so, you know, the big win that I offer the blockchain with Dig is we give you a complete vertically integrated solution in ERCOT for all your needs. You know, if you need a site, got you covered. If you need construction,
you're actually building sites.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So we have numerous strategic partnerships on asset management, site operations, facility solutions. We're doing blockchain security solutions now. There's really nothing from permit to power flow to hash rate that we don't cover. And so super excited about it, getting to work with a lot of really talented people. But at the end of the day, I just love working with my hands and developing projects. I've developed energy infrastructure projects literally my entire career. And I firmly believe, you know, that Bitcoin mining is the highest energy optimization tool in the energy industry. And that's why I love it so much. I mean, I met a guy in Dubai just recently. He's burning tires in the UAE desert and generating electricity and mining Bitcoin.
Yeah, I was in Dubai last year.
Yeah.
And I said this on the last show. I'm sure if we do have repeat listeners, they're like, dude, you say this freaking story.
We've heard this story so many.
Yeah, but Jake's probably saying
Senior
that right
moment.
now. Yeah. So, but a nuclear engineer, works at nuclear facilities, obviously, and he talks about how they would mine Bitcoin if Bitcoin was worth zero, just because of its ability to basically balance a load, like bring a nuclear facility up and down. It's the safest way to do it. And
you're talking about Ollie on the way?
Yep. And so
shout out Ollie.
Right. Yeah. Ollie's dope. But yeah, so it's like, but that's the, you know, that's the reality. It's like, there's nothing really that compares to it from that kind of standpoint.
I think it's always hard to look at progression on a small window frame, right? I generally think 30 years from now, we're going to look back. I mean, right now we're still the pioneers we're still so young in the Bitcoin mining industry. The industry in Texas is literally
That makes me feel good.
4 or 5 years. Dude, we got
How
it.
great
Bro.
this
You still,
beard is,
you still
man.
got it, man.
It's freaking-
Still young in the game,
Yes,
Justin.
yeah.
But we're gonna look back 30 years from now and look at the groundwork that we all laid with this infrastructure. And 30 years from now, we're gonna see the impact that it has made on the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, renewable projects gonna be more profitable, more clean energy, right? There's gonna be more transmission in the world to provide stability of electricity, right? There's gonna be
Areas
less
that haven't
waste.
had it
100%.
at all. You know, what
Africa
I mean?
is gonna be the next big
Africa
frontier.
is gonna be big.
100%.
South America still has so much room to grow too.
Yeah.
Middle East, I mean, dude, the whole world,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't agree more.
But with that energy and infrastructure, what's awesome about Bitcoin is, you know, you've got the US dollar, the ruby, and all these different currencies, but more and more nation states and individuals are diving into Bitcoin. And dude, I'm not trying to get all like sentimental here, but Bitcoin literally has the capability to unite the world, right? If we are all united together on a common front of believing in something, Bitcoin, right? It drops barriers. We're all together in the same boat.
Well,
right?
it's kind of weird in that, because I agree that it has the opportunity to create, like, I don't want to be overstating things, but like from a standpoint of wars and international, you know, issues that pop up, most of them are centered around money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's like, this is probably something that could help reduce those situations. But at the same time, it gives so much autonomy to individual countries and states, because the currency, which is fiat currency, is typically a big problem everywhere.
100%.
Everywhere.
100%.
And so removing that aspect from like the economy, and like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this is something that's going to happen overnight, that the dollar's not going to exist. Like, I know there's a lot of people that act like that sometimes. It's like, that's not what's going to happen. Not in my opinion.
I had actually a really interesting conversation the other day with someone. They were talking about CBDCs. Gross. Yeah. But what's crazy about it is, what if the dollar starts to be backed by Bitcoin, right? The U.S. government,
Kennedy was talking about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. He created the first, basically what BRICS is doing right now, right? With backing it with natural silver.
Right. Well, I'm talking about Robert Kennedy. Like, he's been talking about that with Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even if that didn't happen, even if we just got back to the gold standard again and have a stronger USD, and that's not gonna mess with Bitcoin at all. Bitcoin is gonna continue to grow autonomously. Right. But being able to also save the USD would also be kind of nice, considering the implications
that maintain our place in the world.
Exactly. It's the global implications. Like, I don't know if y'all saw Putin sitting down with Tucker Carlson.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I don't understand why your country keep printing money and make you weaker in the world stage.
I didn't watch it. Did
he
say that?
Yes.
Oh, he did, dude. It was crazy.
He was like, your leaders make no sense. Why would you do that? Like, you're giving us more power by diluting your own currency.
It's true. It's completely
scary.
true.
It's scary seeing a guy like that talk, knowing where we've been historically, where we're at now, and then we have a senile president who like cannot make his way off stage.
The crazy thing about it is people always ask, well, I go internationally and talk to people. They're like, what's going on in your country? What people have to understand about our current debt crisis is we have creditors, right? America is still to this day, economic powerhouse in the world, right? Well, if we have a bunch of creditors out in the world, they're still going to always just siphon off America. So they want to see us in debt. Well, what is the tool that gives the common man the ability to escape that matrix and to actually
be taken down with the ship, right?
Or be taken down without taking the ship? And it's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, Alana has talked about that when she was on here. Like, people in Argentina buying silver spoons when they get paid in the morning, and they go buy a bunch of silver spoons because it's a better use of their money than to hold their fiat, because it's getting
next
inflated.
week it's devalued.
Right.
It's like, we'll just take this, melt it down.
Right. So it's like, I mean, Bitcoin's much easier. That's the use case, right? That's a big attack on it. Also, it's like the use case for Bitcoin is way better than buying silver spoons.
If you got $1 million today, my financial advisor was kind of laying this out for me, as sad as this is. If you got $1 million today, right? I stroked Jake $1 million check. If Jake just held out $1 million,
that.
Yeah, do that.
Yes,
Take
please
it.
do that.
Thanks. If you held that $1 million in cash all the way till 2050, your purchasing power estimated is going to be $485,000. If you put that same $1 million into Bitcoin and you held till 2050, and Bitcoin's at $1 million, dude, you're sitting at what, $10-20 million.
Have you seen what Michael Saylor's explanation of why he got into Bitcoin? It was almost the exact same thing.
Really?
He said, I was doing estate planning for my family. And he was like, I was trying to take $100 million, and how is $100 million going to grow exponentially in 100 years? He was like, that's like how he was thinking about things. And so he started looking at inflation. He started looking at all these various investments and stuff. And he was like, the true metric for inflation typically is on pace with the S&P 500, right? Which is significantly higher than what is actually reported,
right?
By like probably like 2x. And he was like, so to outpace that, I have to have some absolutely amazing fucking returns to grow $100 million over this time horizon.
Yeah.
That's when he got turned on to Bitcoin, and that's when he became a maxi, and that's when he started just accumulating as much as he possibly could.
MicroStrategy is there's always creative ways to basically kind of get into the Bitcoin game, right? One of my favorite, Fred Thiel, is like one of my heroes in the blockchain industry. When I was in Tulum, I think Bitcoin was like sitting like sub 10,000. And I was just like, man, this run up's about to take off. And I was just like, all right, I got my Bitcoin. I don't really need to like keep buying Bitcoin. I'll keep buying a little bit. But there's
sub 10,000. This dude's been to Tulum a lot.
There's dudes been to Tulum a lot. I was literally sitting on the beach and I realized, I was like, there's about to be a massive run up in Bitcoin mining stocks. And I bought Mara at $4 and that stock ran up to 38. And I YOLO'd in it hard and just watched it all run up and hit the sell button. Every time I see Fred, I'm like, Fred, love you, dude. I tell him that story. He's like, Nuckolls, you're awesome, dude. Like, but there's creative ways that, hey, if you don't want to hold Bitcoin, go buy MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is about to be an S&P 500 company, which is nuts, right? There's people a year and a half ago saying, oh, Michael Saylor, he's an idiot buying all this stuff. Like,
they got like 18,000 Bitcoin.
Dude. Is that how many they got now?
It's like, it's crazy. It's like every month it's like new buy.
But if you really believe in the run up of Bitcoin, which it's absolutely going to happen, there's a huge equities play to make on these Bitcoin mining stocks. You find an undervalued miner that hasn't had that much attention. I think BitDeer, which is not investment advice, BitDeer is a great company that doesn't have a lot of attention. It's one of like the lowest cost operators in the game. Their break even cost to mine Bitcoin is like $15,000 all in operating cost.
And Samantha's cool.
Yeah, shout out Samantha Robertson.
Yeah, she's. We need to get her on the show.
I'll definitely need to get her on the show.
She's cool.
She's really at the rodeo cook-off tomorrow.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need to let Kelly know. He asked me if I want to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to come?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're friends.
Sarah's got to come.
Oh, absolutely. Sarah's in. Sarah's in.
Jake's
like,
going to vomit over here.
Lover boy over here.
God.
All right. Sorry. My bad. I'll stop talking about I just love the girl. She's
I'm in love.
She's great.
Sarah's a great person.
Yeah. You guys know her pretty well. Trying to get her to go work over there. They want to have it. I don't know what's wrong with those guys. But yeah. So, okay. So can you tell us anything about like the project at Dig that you might have closed, or is that hush hush right now?
I can talk in generalities. The stages of Dig is we kind of have three main buckets that we provide, right? Bucket number one is turnkey site development, right? So we basically go out and get your ERCOT interconnection approval, all your permitting, your land agreement, and your approved credit line. And we basically deliver that to you, which is a little bit...
You guys do handle like the credit line and all that stuff?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Right. It's a little bit different than developers going out, putting their own capital on the site, putting a premium on it, which there is value because time value of money, having an installed meter, there is value to that. We approach it just a little bit differently because we work as an in-house dev team. So that's kind of our site development services. Bucket number two is basically construction infrastructure development. We do a lot of the civil and kind of hard construction. All the electrical infrastructure work goes to Wayland's company, Power Infrastructure Partners. So on the construction side, we do a lot of just the civil hard construction for like specialty stuff. We obviously sub it out to other operators. On phase three, asset management, partnered with numerous respected industry operators, right? Dig doesn't personally operate machines, but we can bring that full turnkey solution. Facility maintenance as well, we handle that. Blockchain security is something that I stress so much that not a lot of people take seriously. With this recent hack that happened yesterday with the AT&T.
So your LinkedIn post.
Yes, it was. It's so funny. I mean, like everyone's like, "Oh,
are you sure it wasn't a solar flare?"
Oh, dude, yeah, it was a total solar flare that hit the Middle East that didn't even touch
iPhones and AT&T.
Like it.
Or Verizon too, I guess. Huh?
They're talking about Dubai again, but I met this guy in Dubai at Satoshi Roundtable.
We get it. You travel.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. All right. But
we get it. You love your girlfriend.
we get it. You love your girlfriend. There was a guy I met in Dubai, and can't say names, respect his privacy, but this guy had over like 10,000 Bitcoin ripped from him.
What?
Yeah. And basically what happened, it's called a SIM attack. So there's basically hackers out there that they will basically look at finding like AT&T, Verizon workers, whatever, and basically bribe them, pay them off. And they get them to basically switch your SIM card number to their number, and it bypasses the two-step authenticator step. And completely scary. All right.
Yeah.
That's a really, really big threat, because that's not just happening in Bitcoin. That's happening
everywhere.
Kind of like, generally.
I've never
100%.
heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
No, you think you go and bribe somebody who's getting paid $18 an hour in a Verizon
Hey, here's
store?
$100,000 to go make this happen.
Yeah. Like,
of course
that's
they'll do
so
it.
easy.
Yeah.
And they have the ability to do that. And you don't need hard SIMs anymore. They have virtual SIMs.
Yep.
You can do a virtual SIM transfer.
Really?
Keep your Bitcoin cold storage, off chain. Do not keep it on chain at all.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a big fucking thing.
Dude.
And what we're
That's
talking about
terrifying.
is
lock
from
your
a,
life down.
Yeah, because I still like, I obviously keep cold storage. I don't even want to say this now.
Yeah, you gotta be a little careful, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, like there's
The Iranians are listening.
Yeah,
Never know.
it's terrifying.
But blockchain cybersecurity solutions is vastly needed, and that's a sector of dig that I've been really pushing hard. I personally am not cybersecurity like elite hacker, white hat hacker. Austin is actually home to the U.S. Army's Cyber Command, so we run a lot of our white hacks out of Austin, and I've just really got intermixed with the community quite well and put together a team of professionals that basically work under dig and provide turnkey blockchain security solutions. And it really starts at the level of the miner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are so many miners out there that are flying completely blind that could be open for attack at any second. And it literally starts at the facility, goes all the way through your systems management at your company, your cell phone, right? I've got protected VPN on all of my stuff, right? And so you have to have a complete holistic approach of how you're going to protect yourself, because there's a lot of people, I'm going to get in the Bitcoin mining industry and start like put all this money in, and they're just simply just flying unprotected. And so it's a super scary
I knew
thing.
these guys in the oil and gas space that it was a security firm. It was all like former like special forces, NSA guys. And so not only would they like do a complete like audit of like where you're at, like cybersecurity wise, these motherfuckers would break into facilities, dress up in like the uniforms and stuff, and do physical hacks to identify where you can be exploited.
That's what's
and then they would hand them a report and they're
teaming.
like, you have this are all vulnerabilities for you. You
have
need
to
lock this thing down. So like, it's not just enough to have CrowdStrike or whatever as a cybersecurity program, but also like physically locking down facilities.
Dude, you have to.
Think about it right now. I don't know, there's tinfoil hat time, but think about it. We have like billions of Chinese people that are flooding into America right now, right? Not saying it's going to turn into anything, but it is sketchy, right?
Right.
It is sketchy whenever the government's going down there and cutting barbed wire and letting more and more people in that are of Chinese descent that are coming from Mexico. That's very strange to me.
Right.
At the end of the day, infrastructure in general is just so unprotected because a lot of people don't invest into it until something bad's happened, right? You have to be proactive in your approaches, and you have to start from day one. That's why I always tell people. And it really starts with a good team, a good plan of action. I had a client, can't say names, but sent some Bitcoin to go buy some machines, and in the process got hacked.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Dude. That's always the thing that is going to, like, these are the stories that keep people on the sidelines too, like institutional folks. Because they, like, wrongly, they assume that this happens all the time in crypto. It happens with fiat probably way more
absolutely
than what it happens with this. But you hear these stories, and it is an area that is like
luckily you
prone
can
for attack here because we do so much stuff electronically with
But also, it's like it's a less regulated space too,
right?
You know, and there's pros and cons to both. And I think
you have to spend money to go get your. I mean, granted, the blockchain is traceable, which is good,
right? But we don't have like FDIC protection.
You can't go call the federal government. Like, hey, I need help. Right, my Bitcoin's sitting in Switzerland that I need to go chase down, and that's where I think regulation really needs to start ramping up. Is like we need to protect our digital assets because this is an asset class that needs to be protected and served and done all the same sort.
And I'm like, it's inevitable that regulatory like mechanisms will come into place, right? Absolutely. That like if it grows to $80 trillion kind of cap, it's like, dude, there's going to be a lot of protections on that. Like it has to. So I'm a big libertarian type of guy, and I hate like federal government. I really don't like. If I could ever go just live on an island without any type of government at all, I'd be ecstatic. But that's not the world we live in. So it's inevitable that we're going to deal with some of this stuff. And in a way, I kind of welcome it because I think it'll open the floodgates to institutional,
way more institutional
money,
buyers.
Right. And that's how you actually get to the $80 trillion market cap. So,
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I don't know, dude, you got a lot of stuff going on, obviously. And I don't know, we're boys and it's easy to talk to you. And I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you.
I'm one of the biggest fans of Pumpjack Power, Crypto Power, Dig. Like I know even in a way where I'm at now, Adicom, I guess in a way we could be competitors a little bit, but it's one of those cooperation kind of deals that I think is a really lovely thing about our whole industry is that we all are here to further the case of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. And so it's like I'm just a big you're my boy, dude.
There's a few folks in the industry that I'm not too entirely privy to, but y'all probably would know who they are.
Dude,
but
there's some total douchebags in the space.
Absolutely,
too. Like I'm not going to pretend that that's
just waiting for somebody to drop a name.
You know who we're going to say. You know who I want to say.
They're watching. They know who they are.
Oh, they are watching because they always beg to get on the show.
Absolutely.
Too. So,
but I'm
not trying to big time anybody.
There's a lot of people trying to do the same. Like there's a lot of developers in the industry.
Yeah,
right.
There is.
But what I always try to do is, how can we go win together? Right? There's enough money to go around for everybody. Everyone's got a secret sauce. Everyone's got a talent, and pulling that talent together is literally the most important thing in the industry. Like you said, that's how we get this industry to the next curve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people, it's like in the oil and gas industry, right? Everyone out in the Permian is drilling the same rock, and you would think that like, Chevron and Exxon are not like sitting there like buddy, they're competitors. Dude, they go down to the bars. Hey, man, how you drilling that well?
Yeah.
How you fracking that well? Yeah. How you doing that?
That's actually, it's better to do that
100%.
Anyway, because like you learn so much from each other, and like there's not enough companies still to service what there is out there, and so it's like there's no reason to be like guarded and kind of weird about it. And I'll be honest, I don't care. I work with Pumpjack in a way. We haven't formalized everything completely yet, but I'm a big proponent of you guys, obviously. So.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Look.
Collaborative efforts on numerous fronts, whether it's media, technology, healthcare, being a good neighbor and a good friend, finding that common ground with people. That's how you build relationships. That's how you go win as an industry.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And the people that are like, oh, well, I don't need to talk to you. And like, It's like, dude, those people don't last long.
No, they don't. They don't.
Like a good neighbor. Nuckolls is there.
Yeah. Nuckolls is there. State Farm. Shout out Aaron Rodgers.
Man, I'll have to tell you a story about some of the stuff afterwards. But
yeah,
look, man, thank you for coming.
Absolutely, guys.
Loved it. Thank you for the Don Julio too.
The 1942.
Yeah.
I'll break into that next time my face doesn't feel like it's going to explode from the sinus.
Man, yeah, that would have helped.
Yeah, it might have. Yeah. I drank during lunch and it made me sleepy. Then I pounded a monster like a Kyle.
Man.
And now I'm kind of like back at like
classic. Got the sugar rush rolling.
Well, I'm gonna maybe sneak some of that Don Julio home. I'm moving tonight. So
moving.
Yeah, dude. I needed something to drink when I celebrate that we're done.
Let's put that relationship to the test.
Hey. Speak of the devil. She's calling.
There's
not the devil.
Speak
of the angel.
There's the angel. There's that devil.
That's my angel calling. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that moving is like one of my least favorite things to do ever. And yeah, if there's ever been a trying time, it's that. But man, she's so wonderful. No problems.
You just I've learned in life you just gotta fork over the cash for like the two two college hunks moving. You just gotta
Totally.
you just gotta be like, hey, listen, pack my house up. And,
Those two dudes are coming tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep. They're coming tomorrow.
Buying some pizza and tip them well.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, well, you know what's funny?
A little Bitcoin.
I don't know if I should say it's on here, so maybe we cut and then I can tell you a story. But I got a funny one about when I had to like give the possessions to my former spouse. These same movers came.
And we'll go ahead and wrap the show. We'll go ahead and wrap
Thank
the
you
show.
guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate the show.
We got a good story though. We got a good story. I'll tell you guys afterwards.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.